Alright, I've had a few people ask how this reel-to-reel tape deck works that I just bought, so as my missus is at her parents for Christmas, I thought I'd do a quick little tear down, whip the cover off, show you a rough idea of how it works, because I know there's some people out there who've probably ever never used a tape deck, let alone a reel-to-reel, and, once I've shown you the basics, then I'll basically take the reels off and show you the gubbins, but as you can see, this is the tape deck completely starkers. I've took the front cover off. What happens is, this is your supply reel. The tape comes down here, past this, which is your record head. I mean, that's your erase head, apologies. That is basically just to erase the tape. That's the record head, so that's what does the recording. That's your playback head, so that's what plays it back. This moves up and clamps onto the tape to hold it in place, to try and regulate speed, and then it goes onto this, the take-up reel. Now, I don't know if you can see back there, but all the time that the power's on, the motor's running in this. Everything is mechanical, so if I flick it over to play now, you can see that things have moved around inside, and now it's actually sent power to that to pull the tape in, and it's also clamped that in there. So, like I said, and if I fast forward it again, you'll see that it pulls the tape away from the heads, and unclips that so it doesn't wear. So like I said, now it's fast forwarding, but if I stop it and now I rewind it, you see that the rewind runs very slow, but I can show you why that is when the tape's off the reel. So I'll just help it out, and then once it's off the reel, there is also another little thing here which I'll show you while I'm manually rewinding it. It's a little bar that comes down which operates that micro switch that tells it when the tape has finished to turn the motor, to turn off. So it should come down in a minute now once the tape finishes rewinding. You see, it didn't come down because that's a little bit sticky, but you can see if I pull it down, you hear the click. So I'll take the reels off now, and we'll have a look at how the unit works. Now, doing this single one-handedly is not the easiest thing on the planet. So, yeah, the leader will be fine. So now you can see the workings of the inside of the deck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the power off. I'm going to push this bar up so it thinks there's a tape in, so it'll allow the mechanism to work. And if I stick it into I'll do it manually because I can't hold it in place, but if I put it into rewind, you can see why it was running slow. That's the motor. What happens is when it goes into rewind, it pushes that against the against the reel, which then spins that drum. Now that belt was very, very, very loose, so that needs replacing, which I know about. I've got replacement belts for all of this. Put it into play. If I put it into play, you see that it moves everything across again. If I put it into fast forward again, it then moves that reel that's connected to that belt onto that pulley, which then winds that on. It's a very, very, very clever system, because in normal playback it's just this belt that runs it, but by putting it into fast forward, it connects the motor directly to that. So, like I said, what needs to happen here so far is the belts need replacing, which I've got a full set of anyway. You can see how loose that one is, and that one's loose as well. And these belts that run the counter need replacing. Everything needs a good clean. These switches, as you can see, they're all covered in fluff and God knows what, so the actual contacts inside will be absolutely filthy. But I've got some switch cleaner, and then it's just little things need a bit of a re-grease, like this bar for example. You see it's slow to come down. That should literally, as soon as the tape finishes, that should come straight down, so that's just a bit of grease needed. Also, on mechanisms like this, can you see where when I'm moving the bar, this bar moves? That could do with a re-grease as well, just to make sure everything works fine. This is also something I've forgot to mention. To stop the reels running away when you hit stop, if I put it back into reverse, you can see this little brake shoe. When the reels are meant to move, the mechanism pulls it away, but when they're not meant to move, it clamps it tight. So it's as you can see, it's a bit hard. You can't really move it. It's got a little spring to tension it, so it does allow it to stop smoothly instead of slamming to a great big halt. Like I said, I just thought I'd whip the cover off because it needs a good clean, just to give people an idea of what goes on inside these machines.